All right, good morning and welcome to the show. It's Spring Trends on Western Spring Television. My name is Emmanuel Ujadugile. You can follow this program on all our social media handles displaying on your screen: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel when you get there. Now we'll begin our show today with what is happening in the country as regards the cash crunch. Well, fortunately for us Nigerians, the ICPC and the CBN and the EFCC have been going around, busting banks and arresting people who have been trying to shortchange the public. Let's take two of those videos and show you some of the discoveries that have been made by the ICPC.
Okay, sorry, madam. This box is yes, what of the can you like use actual amount from the card remain of one. We are unable to deduct from that Tuesday morning 135.
When we come, we made everything. So if what we have is closing down our they don't say this is what they gave us today, we distribute. Whatever we have is part of what we have. It will be added to us. So what?
Well, you can see the frustration of people. You can see the bank vaults that had unwrapped notes, new Naira notes. Now let's go straight to the comments and see what people have had to say about that. We'll begin with Akan Umwetalk. Akan Umwetalk is the first comment on the show this morning. Akan says, mention the bank in question. Why are you shitting the bank? Let's know unless it's fake news. Some of the announcements made by the ICPC has been some bank officials, but now people are saying that you need to mention the name of the bank so we know who's perpetrating this. Femi Paniet says, this sort of behavior will encourage customers to start invading bank premises for their money. The bank manager should never be allowed to work in the bank after a jail sentence and payment of fine. Ravel says, and the bank managers get to keep their jobs, fire and prosecute them, and you see that the nonsense will stop. Omo Mamana says, I don't get the point of the inspection if you can't reveal the name, but if not Yahoo boy now, I go piss them sharp. Make una dey play, oh, we are not ready. Boss ND says, fake script from clueless CBN. Banks don't care about the color of Naira notes. Once they have enough in their votes, they disperse to the public. Reason for scarcity is solely because CBN has not and cannot produce sufficient notes within their own given time frame. Next comment is from Eniola Akinkotu says, I'm so happy you mentioned the name of the bank. Most media houses in Nigeria won't mention their name. They will write a new generation bank. And Kemi Lawyer replies immediately, says, Eniola, have you left at Mobile Punch? You were the leading media that shields these banks and uses those terms. Learn more. Next comment is from Fomax, who says, some Nigerians will blame Buhari and APC. No nation would develop when many citizens are determined to sabotage the government's efforts. Zenith Hill says, I think you guys are having a show of efficacy in Nigeria. Before this money was loaded, was the ATM paying? If it was, then it could be a result of pressure for mistake to be made. If it wasn't, and the bank branch had intended for it to be that way, then they are liable. Ike Hiala says, from my preliminary research, it is glaring that ICPC Nigeria and EFCC are understaffed to embark on a large-scale nationwide operation that would have ensured commercial banks complied in total with the fine monetary policy of central bank. His Excellency Peter Obi will fix this mess. Idris Aoni says, this is exactly what banks are doing. Officially, the cash has been dispensed. They sell them later for higher bidders, leaving ordinary citizens stranded and helpless. God is not punishing us. We are the ones punishing ourselves with greed and wickedness. Well, that's that on that story. We'll move away to the ongoing fight between the spokesperson of the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC, Festus Keyamo, and former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. Now, yesterday, or 2 days ago, while President Buhari was campaigning for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Nasarawa State, he made some comment, and in that comment, Yakubu Dogara responded, said some things about Asiwaju Tinubu that Keyamo did not find funny. So Keyamo responded to Yakubu Dogara and said, "My brother and law schoolmate at Yakubu Dogara, this tweet is beneath you. You are actually pained by the support of PMB, Fuad Official, ABAT, two leaders who have stayed true to their beliefs and causes, unlike the political prostitute, wanderer, and backstabber that you've always been." Very interesting choice of words there. But then Dogara responded and said, "My brother, I have a name for you, but because it's not a good one, I won't say it as a cost of friendship. Yes, we're mates at law school, but I'm waiting for you to win a councillorship election first so we can be mates in politics. Learn to punch below your weight category." Wow. 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 Anyway, let's see how people responded to that. We begin with Daniel Rega, who is always everywhere on Twitter. It says, "Yakubu Dogara, you leaving the APC doesn't make you different from Keyamo. It's no doubt playing sentimental politics, but you two are literally the same because it's all about your self-interest. The campaign from one party to another when convenient says a lot about your kind of person." And this person, Zeon, says, "All I see in this tweet is pride. Lottery of life has been kind to you with the affordability of political advantage that comes for people in your area, which is uncommon in your friend's area. In a sane society where there is equity, do you think you will be that lucky in life?" Alaji Photo says, "Mr. Festus Keyamo is a minister via political appointment, while the Yakubu Dogara, former speaker, via elected. From my own understanding, both of you are leader, because to be a House of Reps is not easy. Likewise to be, always use good English to make your point, please." Ola Alabi says, "Dogara, if you are successful as a lawyer by now, you should be a son like Festus Keyamo, or appointed a judge in either into Federal High Court or by your state. It shows your certificate is questionable. Even as speaker, what are your achievements? Don't throw stones when you leave glass house." Olorogun Oganejabo says, "Keyamo has no political influence in his hometown. Mr. Dogara is right. Keyamo cannot win a councillor election in Delta. At F, Keyamo and real FFK are the same. They have no political influence in their state of origin. Festus can win a council election in Anthony Village, Lagos." Prince Kel says, "You see the reason why Tinubu doesn't have schoolmates? Cut your speech according to your political class. Keyamo is doing Agbero, loading passengers for Tinubu." Senator Chris Comsner says, "I was among those thinking Dogara was a peaceful, quiet man. Every Nigeria have their follow come savage. No one who never show you see they call peaceful." Mr. Mugu was taken to the dry cleaner early this morning. Omolade Fatoyinbo says, "Your relevance is lost, Honorable. I doubt if the party you are right now can trust you with anything." And of course, Gospel RX says, "Senior advocate of nonsense, don't enter potopoto. At Festus Keyamo, we are waiting for you. Go pick the LGA chairmanship from next time for Delta State. Contest first, make we see. No be by to the lose case for EFCC every time. Weak prosecutor." Wow. Kenny Ozier says, "You are not nice at Yakubu Dogara. Why will I tell you that you are my mate in law school and you ran to raise the yardstick to number 4th man in Nigeria at a time? He good? He good? No, now they ask you, he good?" Now, still talking about basketballs and big mouth and loud mouth, we move over to one of the loudest mouths in Nigerian politics, one of the persons who just talks, he just talks and talks and talks. I'm talking about former Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode. What did Femi Fani-Kayode say on Twitter? He went to put up a tweet and said, "Let me make this clear. Emefiele has no intention of releasing new Naira note until March. He wants people to suffer, he wants chaos, and he wants to scuttle the election. He's a dangerous pawn in the hands of sinister anti-democratic forces. Remove, arrest, and detain him now." Now, immediately he made that statement, a lot of persons came at him. We begin with One Man Mopo. One Man Mopo says, "On a very good day, you suppose day kiri-kiri." Sweet, sweet comment. Bamidele Salam is a lawmaker representing Eden North, Eden South, Ejigbo Egbedore. It says, "You are just a massive clown." Wow. Adequaju says, we are prepared to suffer till March if the scarcity of Naira will prevent vote buying. Leave us with our sufferings. We don't suffer since PMB took over, so not a big deal. I'm sure you don't lack cash to spend, so why are you crying more than we, the bereaved? King says, APC and Tinubu won't buy votes during election. Money politics must not be part of this election. You cannot buy vote this time around. Emefiele has already released enough money to banks, but bank managers are selling the new notes to politicians. Hold the banks responsible. Ebuka says, please don't blame this on CBN governor. Talk to Buhari direct. He's really standing firm with Emefiele and is the superior man on that. So talk to the boss direct and demand for all this on him if you have the balls. Raphael Anefi says, Emefiele wants people to suffer. Where was Tinubu when the same Emefiele denied young Nigerians and SARS protesters from accessing their bank accounts by calling them terrorists? Tinubu has never spoken about the suffering of the masses in the last 8 years, and you are saying this now. Papi says, insecurity, police brutality, COVID palliatives, petrol scarcity, ASU strike, and many more ravages Nigeria over the years. No single governor had meeting with the president. Now redesign of Naira, APC governors are having sleepless nights. What's really going on? And the Family Guy says, opposition spokesman will fit you, but as you are doing it, try have small shame. When Murphy crippled the fintech space, you kept quiet because it didn't bother you. When he printed 2 trillion and devalues the currency, you lots defended him to high heavens. Your wailing will be long. Udo Mbiokporo says, students were at home for 9 months. You don't say anything. Now money and you and your party want to show sympathy for on behalf of Nigerians. Or leave them like that still after election. Truth Seeker says, why are you crying? The old notes in your house should be enough to sustain you till March. Thieves, you are willing because there's not enough funds for vote buying. You all didn't expect this move. It seems to be a season of gbasgbos, so we'll move on from FFK directly to Nollywood. Now, in one of his recent interviews, current governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, referred to presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, as a Nollywood actor. Now, when he said that to Peter Obi, his supporters came out to complain, and a lot of persons have been saying so many things. Now, Nollywood themselves responded, and this was a response from Nollywood by their spokesperson, Director of Communications, Kate Henshaw. And I want you to pay attention. She said, the attention of the leadership of the Actors Guild of Nigeria has been drawn to a derogatory statement made by the diminutive governor of Kaduna State. Now, for those of you who don't know what diminutive means, it means extremely small. You know, when you buy a baby doll and you compare it to a life-size human being, you see how small it is. That's what these guys are saying El-Rufai is, and you know that El-Rufai is short, so maybe. Now, let's look at the comment that we have on that story. We begin with Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime says, diminutive, you know fear Allah, with a crying emoji. Mercy Posh says, do a movie of a small kneeling man who loves power and couldn't protect his citizens. Title could be Small Man. Very interesting. Daniel Duke says, this is an overkill. El-Rufai is an actor too. Give him a role in the movie. You can direct it. He should be able to play Gollum effortlessly. He looks the part. Sneaky, sneaky. Blessing says, 1, El-Rufai will not withdraw his statement. 2, he will not tender any apology to Nollywood actors. 3, nothing will happen after that. The Naija will day. If the Actors Guild is serious, give him a timeline to withdraw his statement and tender his apology. And if he doesn't, sue him. And then Kabir says, diminutive Kutuma. AGN says, lick this orange. In not the slap, El-Rufai licks the orange and it turns out to be a lime. Wow. Yemi Daniel says, this is it. This is how the developed world grow their economies. You don't think one field of life is greater than the other. The reason some of them in government house can't think beyond embezzling the common patrimony of the people. Thank you, Nollywood. Now, Ladipo says, sincerely, the comparison may not be nice after all by El-Rufai, but who wrote this letter like this? One would at least expect a better justified and well-aligned text while protecting the image of the profession rather than this scattered text. And this JB said, you guys need to work on your perception management. El-Rufai's intention wasn't to malign. Will you keep quiet? Demean or ridicule acting profession. He only described how a certain politician dramatizes his political dealings, but you chose to read a meaning out of his well-intentioned statement. Blanco says, you all here writing to El-Rufai Abihu, but a movie was made and named Peter Obi, portraying and tarnishing the name of a presidential candidate. Really, start by sanctioning the people under you first. That way, you know you are a serious body, because that Una Asaba branch, they misbehave. Well, that's the end of the trends today. It seems that we began with Gbasgbos, started on a very Gbasgbos-y level, and we hope it doesn't continue into the week. We also hope that you don't get into any Gbasgbos. When you get to the ATMs, when you get to the petrol queues, if you have to fight, fight responsibly, make sure you win the fight, and ensure that you don't get beaten, because there's still no money to take you to the hospital. That's where we leave the show this morning on Spring Trends. My name is Emmanuel Ujadigele. Follow us on all our social media handles, and I'll see you tomorrow.